What's going on, everyone?
Hello.
Happy Wednesday.
It is Wednesday, and I'm Rachel.
And I'm Joe.
And we are Two Crazy Ketos.
And if you're new to our channel, welcome. Here on Two Crazy Ketos, we do different things like recipe videos, and we do product reviews, and we talk about various keto topics. And then every Monday, we sit down on the couch for Keto on the Couch. We just kind of talk about what's going on in our lives for the week.
You can find us in different social media platforms like Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter.
And we have a website, which is twocrazyketos.com, and that's where you're going to find all of our different recipes. Now, we do upload at least 5 new videos every single week, so make sure you subscribe to our channel.
And don't forget to hit the little bell icon, and that way, every single time we upload a new video, you'll be alerted to it.
And be able to see.
That always helps.
Keith is here. He said
hey,
first.
MJ's here. She says hi.
So how is everybody doing? We figured that we would just quickly pop on, say hello to everybody, talk a little bit about Troop Beverly Hills.
Troop Beverly Hills.
And yeah, we actually I have to go to the Apple store to make an exchange. So it's kind of weird. You have to like make an appointment to go to the store. Like, so if you buy something, I can't even go do a return unless I'm buying something, because you can't make an appointment to do a return.
Do you have to have an appointment to buy something?
If you buy it online, you have to have an appointment to go pick it up. You can't just go show up and pick it up.
That is crazy.
The last time we tried to go to the Apple store, yeah, you couldn't even just walk in and buy it. It was like only if you bought it online. But I don't know if things have changed and everything.
That's when you know that you got something people want.
Yeah.
Right? Like, I don't know if I'm going to let you in my store. Like, let me think about it. Have an appointment. Come back.
Debbie's here.
Hey, Debbie.
Hello, everyone. Happy Wednesday.
Can you believe it's Wednesday already?
I cannot.
Tomorrow is Thursday.
Tanya said, on a roll today, catching all my favorite live streams. Hi there. Happy hump day.
I'm so glad that you're here.
Paul's here from Wales.
With the coolest voice ever.
Anthony and Kat are here.
Hey, guys.
Elizabeth said, I'm confused as to when you guys go live. I get alerted, but I must have missed it one day, and I was so sad.
Aww.
So right now, we're just kind of doing a couple of extra random ones.
Some drop-in ones.
Just to go along with the Kamp Krazy challenge of talking about some of the emotions and things that maybe some of these older summertime movies, a lot of us grew up with these movies, and it brings up emotions. And sometimes those emotions can cause us to go off the rails or overeat or maybe eat foods that we don't really want to eat. So we figured we would talk about it. But our normal live streams are Thursdays at 8:30 p.m. Eastern time. That's the one you can count on every single week.
Yeah, this one reminds me a little bit about something that you used to do in camp, which was the buddy check.
Yes.
Remember? So that you never knew when that was coming.
Right.
Explain a little bit about how that works.
So I was a counselor at Onteora Scout Reservation in upstate New York. It's in Livingston Manor. And I worked on the waterfront most of the years. And so what would happen is we had a buddy check. So when you first showed up at camp, we evaluated how good you were at swimming. And then you were made either a white, a red, or a blue.
Okay.
Blue meant like you're a top-notch swimmer, and you can pretty much go anywhere in the swimming area.
Did you get
White
a blue?
was like you could only go, yeah, of course. I worked in the waterfront. I hope
You
I can
better.
swim. The white was you can only like go like maybe waist deep, and then the red was like a little bit in between. Anyway, what happened is when you went in the water, you couldn't just go in the water by yourself. You had to have a buddy, you know? So Rachel was my buddy.
And what
would happen is you would take your tag and you would hang it on the board right next to your buddy.
So then I know both of you are there.
So that means we always have to be within like arm reach of each other when we're swimming or we're on a boat or anything like that.
Smart.
And then what would happen is as the lifeguards, we would randomly blow our whistle and yell buddy check, at which point everybody shuts up. Everybody stops what they're doing, and you've got to sit in the water holding your buddy's hand up like this, basically going, my buddy's still here, they haven't drowned, you don't have to go drag the lake with grappling
And we
hooks.
don't have to be disciplined for not following the rules.
Right, because if you were caught like out of the water with your tag still on the board.
What was the punishment?
It was manual labor. It was pretty bad manual labor. We had an old sickle, and you would spend a couple of hours
mowing grass.
But yeah, but it was important to have your buddy to make sure you're safe, but also it like let everybody else know what was going on.
Here's the thing. That's a great system that we do not carry over into adulthood a lot of times.
Right.
We do not buddy check each other and say, like, how are you doing? And if I look like I'm really busy and I look like stuff is going on, she's fine. Right? Like we kind of give off that aura when we maybe need a buddy check. So these are just kind of some buddy check things. If there's anything that you guys are struggling with or anything that kind of came up in the movie, because let me tell you, True Beverly Hills was one of my favorite movies growing up. I don't know if I just... Well, I don't know if I just loved Shelley Long's hair in that movie. Doesn't she have like fantastic like red hair in that movie? And everything is so cute. And, you know, I didn't grow up wealthy. So it did, like, that's how I expected rich people lived, was like in all these fancy cars doing this amazing things. And they only had like rich people jobs. They were like a movie director, or they were, you know, a diplomat, or something like super, super important. And that's how I thought that they lived. So I love that movie growing up. Then as an adult, I lived that movie because she's going through like a divorce. She's going through kind of an ugly patch in her relationship. And it's completely different when you're watching it as a kid versus going through it as an adult.
Yeah.
And we've both been through that.
I mean, it definitely brought up some emotion to me. I wanted to just check in on some of these comments real quick. He said, for breakfast, I had a burger, 6 sausage links, and a piece of string cheese. Why do I feel like I'm starving? I'm so ready for lunch. Sometimes it's just like that.
I feel like that too sometimes.
Miss Heather is here.
Hey, Heather.
Susan said, hello, friends. Are you coming to Omaha in August for the Keto Summit? That's the plan.
We sure will be there.
Elizabeth said, hey, Joe, I'm thinking of one of those cordless vacs on Prime Day. The only one I've seen is a Samsung one. Thanks about
Thursday.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Samsung makes good products. I just would not do a refrigerator from them.
The Samsung refrigerators have a lot of, like, 1-star reviews.
Yeah. Elizabeth said, I love the buddy system. Anyone want to be my buddy?
Yes, that is really good to know. And I mean, definitely put yourself out there, write in the comments, go into the Facebook family group if you're looking for a partner. But one of the things that came out of this when I was watching it was I was thinking, she takes on this wilderness camp director, you know, scout leader position because she feels challenged by her almost ex-husband who has berated her and said, you don't finish things.
Right.
You don't follow through with things. Right. And it inspires her to get better. But when relationships fail in real life, I don't think I was really inspired by people who hurt me in relationships or let me down in a relationship to get better.
Right.
I understand that, like, a lot of times you think, well, the best revenge is living well. But I didn't usually do that.
Yeah, I don't act that way either, but Anthony does.
I usually ate and self-destructed that way. I definitely gained a lot of weight in response to my divorce. What about you? When you first got divorced?
When I first got divorced, I don't know. I just kind of, I don't even remember. It's like a blur. Like I blocked out that part of my life. But I definitely went off the rails eating, even though like I was doing a lot of the cooking and stuff already. It was just, you know, a little bit more of like, now I'm raising 2 boys. Like you more fast food and more of that kind of stuff. What this movie brought up from me was the whole outcast thing. And you don't think of them as like
you're rich, you have no problems.
They were rich, they didn't have any issues. These are all like wealthy kids who were basically spoiled brats, right? But they were outcasts to the rest of this girl community.
You're always trying to fit in.
And I was always the outcast.
Money doesn't solve everything.
Right.
You know, and you don't get to that point in your life where you either have the job or you have the money where you're just done being hurt. And I thought this is a good opportunity to say, if you've gone through something and you've been in a relationship, whether it's a family relationship or it's a dating relationship or maybe it's a coworker.
Joe Ray, we're talking about True Beverly Hills.
True Beverly Hills. If you've been through something where a relationship has let you down, can we just take a second? And I want to say, I'm sorry that you've had to go through that. I am sorry. if you've been hurt by somebody. You know, there's a lot of times where we count on relationships, particularly family relationships, or if you're in like a dating or marriage relationship, a coworker, a business partner that you felt like you should have been able to trust. And they may never say, I'm sorry for hurting you. And I want to say, I'm sorry you went through that. Because sometimes too, especially if we are adults and you have to continue raising children, you don't get to stop what you're doing and hurt.
Right.
You have to keep going.
Right.
You still have a role to fill. And
right.
I mean, unlike Shelley Long, who you still felt like, okay, she's getting some bills paid, even when she's, you know, she's not happy, but she doesn't have to worry about that. But I can remember as a single mom suddenly thinking like, wow, I don't have less pressure now.
Right.
I have the letdown of a relationship and I have more responsibility.
Right.
So I think it's important for us to stop for a second and just acknowledge we've been through some stuff. Mm-hmm. Because when I couldn't talk to anybody else, or if I didn't have anybody to talk to, I talked to the bottom of the bag of chips.
Right.
I talked to the bottom of the pint of ice cream because it was there. And I didn't feel like it was judging me, and it was the same.
Right.
Right? Especially if you had a go-to comfort food. That's precisely what I used it for, incorrectly. Right. But I found my comfort there. And the truth is, there is really no comfort there. It can't fix anything or solve anything. It doesn't make the problem go away.
Right.
And it's like any substance that you abuse, when you're finished and you recover from it, you just felt bad that you went there. And you still have the problem to deal with. Yeah. I wonder if anybody else has experienced something similar.
I know one thing I've always experienced is when you're done binging, the regret. Right?
Yeah.
So I'm sorry I got distracted, but he sent me a thing saying, make sure when this is over, check your Facebook message. Uh-huh. Which you can't tell me that. Like, that's like, you know, you get the phone call, I really need to talk to you, but we'll talk at the end of the week.
We'll talk later.
Like, yeah, no, that's like, Rachel will say, like, I'll talk to you later. No, now.
Right.
I don't care what you're doing.
What
Go
is
hide
it?
from whatever. Like, so, yeah, it was just a picture of, like, a 3XL shirt.
He needs a 3XL?
Like, he needs a 3XL shirt.
You're like, nuh-uh.
But he has to tell me that because he knows I don't check Facebook Messenger. So don't ever message me on Facebook.
You have
Messenger.
to message here,
like Instagram, or send us an email. But I feel like I've got enough Messenger things. I don't need to open up anything else.
Finished. You've
I know that Messenger and Facebook are sort of intertwined, but that's the Two Crazy Ketos one.
Right.
The personal one, I don't even use Instagram personally. Jessica said, went out and got several sets of dumbbells to work out at home. My 14-year-old is joining me and will be my buddy accountability partner.
What a great buddy and accountability partner. That is so stinking smart.
Oh, Karen said, Joe and Rachel and KK family, thank you for your prayers for my husband who fell off the RV steps.
Yes.
Surgery went well. He's home recuperating on the road to recovery.
Good, Karen. That is so awesome. And I'm so sorry that happened. That is, oh my goodness.
Joey wants to know where we find the movie. Where do we find it?
We found it on Tubi, which
Tubi. It's a free app. Yeah, it's Tubi.
Didn't cost us anything for the movie.
It doesn't cost anything. There's just a couple of commercials thrown within there.
But it wasn't as bad commercials.
It's not like watching TV, and nothing is edited out. For those of you who maybe don't want naughty words, not that there's any in that movie.
There wasn't really anything.
But they have a lot of TV shows. Like we were actually, we've been watching on there. I don't understand why we've been watching.
Fantasy Islands.
But Fantasy Islands.
Fantasy Islands.
Yeah.
I keep thinking in my past, I felt like Fantasy Island was like the best, I don't know, one of the best shows, but there's a lot of like garbage episodes in there. I did not realize how many fantasies I did not care about that people were having. It was like, I want to be a construction man. And you're like, okay, go build something. Apparently, I only liked the romance ones.
Okay,
must be it.
So what you're going to do...
There was a lot of shows on it for free.
Studio browser.
So you sharing it, don't knock over your drink.
Okay, so which one is the browser? This one here. Okay, so this is Tubi, and again, it's TUBITV.com, and you put in your birth date, and it's basic registration, like just name, use any email address you kind of want, but they don't require a credit card or anything like that. And they have all kinds of things on it. It's completely legal. It's not like using some of the illegal streaming things. They have advertisements in there, but there's not a whole lot of advertisements. So
no, I was pleasantly surprised.
It really worked well, and it was nice to be able to watch that. And we found some other movies that we like in there too. Yeah. Unfortunately, Ernest Goes to Camp was not in there.
I know it, but again, like, okay, so we're past that, and we're like moving on. In fact, our next movie is going to be Daddy Daycare.
Yes.
But I was really glad that we found True Beverly Hills.
So Elizabeth said, during my divorce, I became anorexic. It was a way of control. Thank you for listening to us. I hear everything you're saying. I totally eat for comfort. At least now I stay keto.
Thank you so much for being vulnerable and sharing that. Yeah, and sometimes it doesn't even make sense to me what was my response to different letdowns, because it's not just like when you go through a divorce, but there's other times where it's a family member, or it's a coworker, or it's a friend that you've had for a really long time, and maybe things change in their life, and things that you counted on from them, you trusted them, they failed you. Sometimes, because relationships are made out of people, and people are not perfect, people can really blow it. People can let you down.
Well, like our church has a great saying, and it's the bottom line is sometimes we look at people, but sometimes they're hurting too, and
hurt people.
They're not doing it on purpose. It's just, it's like, you know, if you're trying to love someone, if you don't love yourself, it's almost impossible to love somebody else. Because until you know how to love yourself, how do you express love to somebody else? And it's the same thing. If we're hurting, if we're emotionally hurting, and you're like, how can we go out and help somebody else if we're hurting ourselves right now?
Yeah, and it's like doesn't necessarily transfer appropriately, because you're thinking this person hurt me, and so my response to the hurt in this relationship is going to be to self-destruct.
Right.
And it's like, wait a second, why would that be your response?
Right.
And I can remember even like and this brought it up for me also in this movie, is her concern for her daughter. Like, your concern for the other people in your life, and then you take on that responsibility too. There is no way that you can make your children happy if you're going through something by you hurting yourself. But I would be like, I'm going to eat the emotions for both me and Caleb who are going through this. Like, other things, like you said, it's a control issue where you can't control what's going on. Your response associated with food can be a very negative way to try to control yourself.
Blue Dove said, I almost chose to never be in a relationship again after my son's father harmed him. I realized that you never really know another person, but I am glad I got through it and I was able to find a good guy and had my girl.
That is so awesome. But it is scary, because when you are in that moment, you do think, my life is never going to be right.
Yeah.
I can only feel sad right now. I feel hurt right now. I feel betrayed, especially if you feel like, wow, that came out of nowhere. I was going to bed thinking like everything is fine for all of these nights in a row, and it wasn't okay. That's a very scary feeling of violation.
Right.
It's hard.
Christina said, Steve at Serious Keto did a review on Keto Chow, gave you 2 a shout out on the deliciousness of caramel macchiato. Yes, I saw it. It was awesome.
I didn't see that yet.
Yep,
Thanks,
it was
Steve.
awesome. I appreciate that. If you haven't done it, go check out Steve over at Serious Keto. He is really into cooking, something that, he's like a mad scientist when it comes to cooking.
It feels like an even greater compliment.
Well, you know what the really cool, the vindication for me was not that he liked caramel macchiato, but that he liked an incredible flavor, and you're going to have to, because he nailed it when he said that he loved root beer. I think root beer was his second favorite.
He liked root beer?
Root beer is awesome.
Steve!
And he actually nails in the video where he says that it's perfect because you can actually differentiate the root beer flavor from the ice cream flavor, which is not an easy accomplishment when you're putting recipes together, where you can get this taste and then get that taste, and you get that in root beer float.
I feel like I have to revisit it if he liked it.
Denise said, this may be stupid, but this Facebook or YouTube, this is on a phone, so I can't get you to load on YouTube. YouTube is working for other videos. We are on YouTube.
We're on YouTube.
Now. So, let's see. Anything else?
That's pretty awesome, though. I'm super excited that he liked it. Yay!
So, not a lot of comments here. So,
it's okay.
Do you have anything else you want to talk about?
Just that.
Before we go to
the Apple Store. No, I just wanted you guys to know, in case there's somebody that needed to hear it today, that we see you and we know that, you know, if people have let you down, we just wanted to say we're sorry that you're going through that. Like, sometimes just being seen can really do a lot. And, you know, I feel like because other people have seen me in my life and stopped for a moment to just be like, I know you're hurting right now, and I'm sorry that you're going through this. It made all the difference in the world for me to be able to set down some bad behaviors, things I didn't want to continue doing, and switch gears. So if we can be that for you, or if you're somebody that, like, you need a buddy, go into our Facebook family group and let people know, I need a buddy. I need somebody, you know, to talk to about stuff.
Yeah.
I need to check in with somebody.
The bottom line is, I mean, it's always going to be a struggle, at least for me. Like, when it comes to emotional eating, like eating whether I'm upset, which is, you know, I deal more of eating out of boredom, or eating when I don't think anybody's going to see it, kind of thing. The important part, I mean, I'll always struggle with that, but the important part is recognizing that it is an issue, so that when I start feeling these feelings come up, that I could maybe, like, find another activity in the moment. You know, it's like, you know, Dr. Cyrus talks about, like, having that bridge. Like, if I'm a boredom eater, always having something near me to, like, for example, drink, or like Rachel will chew gum or wax or anything. But so instead of grabbing this bag of chips, I could grab a glass of water, or grab a diet soda, or grab, you know, some black coffee, but something that it's, you know, for me, like that hand to mouth motion that will get my mind off of eating. It's not necessarily that I'm hungry. I mean, we just finished a 5-day fast, and never once during 5 days did I feel like I'm hungry.
Right.
But I had lots of times where I want to eat.
And I
didn't want to eat because I was hungry. I wanted to eat because I just want to eat.
And what can I do in that moment?
Right.
Instead of that. But I was thinking, like, as you were saying, some other takeaways was, number one, to focus on something positive instead of just sitting there with the magnifying glass on what is negative, so that you make sure you get in all of the negativity. It's like, it's just not helpful. Focusing on something good that's going on in your life, I think, is very important. The other thing that I wanted to say is, sometimes, and I don't think we realize it enough, or we don't talk about it enough, because both of us are on keto. But when you have a partner in life that is not willing to go on keto with you, sometimes that can feel like a letdown in the relationship.
Right.
Because you don't want to be hurtful to them, but you want to say, like, do you understand how important it is for me to get healthy? And if you will not partner with me on going keto and us eat the same things, I feel like you're hurting my progress. You can feel let down in the relationship. And you have to understand that, first of all, like, that is something they have to choose for themselves. Right. And you may have to just find a buddy in the Two Crazy Ketos group, or somebody online through another resource that can be your partner for this specific activity.
Right. I mean, and the bottom line is, and that is something that I went through, because like, when I started, Rachel wanted nothing to do with it, and pretty much said, like, this is stupid.
Yeah, I wasn't sweet about it.
And then went on to say, fine, if you want to do it, that's fine, but it better not cost the family an extra $1. There's no buying extra stuff.
I let you down.
And for me, really the hard part was, like, I'm doing it anyway, but where it really can affect me emotionally is where I'm like, now I feel guilty. Because I started having success, and now I feel guilty because she's not having success on what she was trying to do. I'm having success, and I'm eating really good food, and she's over on the other side eating oatmeal. So now what that did for me is it brought back even more sneak eating. Now I've got to eat in private because I don't want her to see it, because I don't want to make her jealous. You know? And it wasn't I was mad at her. I'm still concerned, like, I was going to make her jealous. I was going to upset her with what I'm eating. And I even go through that now. It's like, if I want to fast, I'm like, I try to get her on board, because if one of us is fast and the other one isn't, then it becomes this thing of somebody is getting upset at the other person.
You know what is the laziest sentence ever written?
What?
and they lived happily ever after.
Right.
That is a lazy sentence because it takes a lot of work every single day. Every day.
That's right.
To like make things work. Like relationships are hard.
Debbie said, through a very unfaithful and abusive marriage, I learned that after I left, how very strong and capable I truly am.
Good.
It was a very hard lesson, but it made me into someone that I know God is proud of.
Wow, yes. Oh my gosh, that is so
Anthony
good.
Kat said root beer is awesome. They nailed the flavor.
Heather
said, I hate to say I'm not a fan of caramel macchiato. I hope we can still be friends.
We absolutely can, Heather.
Hey, we never expected everybody to like the flavor.
No.
I mean, heck, I don't like peaches and cream.
Yeah.
And Rachel really doesn't like peaches and cream. There's taste is subjective.
But I've never been a peaches
person.
person.
Some people love, caramel macchiato. Some people don't like it. Some people love peaches and cream. Me, not so much. I mean,
I like
everybody's
peaches and cream
got
Barbie.
different tastes. We just did a review on those cookies the other day, and one of us thought they were awesome, and one of us was like, this is disgusting.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it happens.
Taste is subjective.
Joe Ray posted another video today.
Yay.
She made it to Wonderland.
Congratulations.
Zoe said, thank you guys. Emotional eating has always been an issue for me for sure. I battle it every day along with anxiety. Lately, my distraction has been water and gum.
That is awesome. It's just really good to have a plan in place.
Jessica said, not sure if you answered before. Why did you do a 5-day fast? Every once in a while, we just like to do a fast. I want to refocus. I feel like maybe I'm eating too much again. I'm overeating, or I'm not feeling optimum. So my best way for me, if I'm not feeling optimum, is get rid of everything.
Reset.
Because I'm trying to figure out what is it that's causing me to not feel optimum. Also, we hadn't done one in a long time, and so we just wanted to see if we could do it,
Yeah, because it's a stamina thing.
Yeah.
The first 24 hours in our experience is always the hardest, no matter how long we've been doing this.
And for me, like probably the first 18 to 20 hours, not a big deal. It's like hours like 22 to 24. That for me is the hardest.
And the last hour.
And then after that, it becomes super easy to do. And I love the feeling that I get on a fast. It's a euphoric feeling.
Yeah.
By hour 36, like you have a sense of euphoria.
Well,
and
you
I
feel,
just like that feeling.
It's a good thing for me to stop for a minute and think about how often I think about food, even still now. Because all of a sudden, when you're doing an extended fast, you have all of this extra time during the day where you're not shopping for food, thinking about food, tracking food, eating food, preparing food. Like none of that is going on, and like what can get accomplished in that amount of time?
Too. It's kind of weird because like I don't have to go grocery shopping for the whole week. Like we have a giant stockpile. I don't have any more egg carton things. I took like a plastic bag and loaded it with eggs to give to our mom because like okay, we're getting 6 eggs a day.
They're coming whether we're ready for them or not.
In reserve. We always try to have like 3 dozen in the house. And now we're not eating for 5 days, getting 6 eggs every single day.
I like how to make sure we don't do anything that's like a lot of eggs fast. Like he's giving them away. He's just like, you know what? Eggs for you and eggs for you.
Shauna said, I am working hard on getting back on track and getting the weight gain back off. So down 4 pounds, 40 pounds before I reach my first goal to under 200 pounds.
That is awesome. That's a fantastic
Christina
goal.
said, 60 watching. Get those thumbs up. Thank you
Thanks
very
so much.
Heather said, I am blessed that Phil was on board with keto from day one.
It makes a huge difference. And, it's a good reminder, whatever your partner or your friend is into, it may not be something that interests you, because that's the thing. Like, when I didn't realize how damaging I was being when I wasn't there for you, but there's plenty of times where I was trying to do something. And I felt like, well, you're not there for me. But that's the thing. You only understand hurt when you're on the receiving end. You don't realize, like, maybe I should take a moment to see, like, is there somebody in my realm that's trying to do something positive for themselves? Have I cheered them on enough? Instead of always being like, people need to make me feel better. Like, is there things that I can do to support the other people in my life and maybe be the friend to someone else that I didn't have?
Right.
Instead of being like, well, if I didn't have a good friend, I'm holding friendship hostage.
Christina said Steve's least favorite was peaches and cream.
Okay. So now I have to try root beer again.
You do.
Because I'm totally tracking with him as far as peaches and cream not.
Patty Epps wants to know, is caramel macchiato have coffee or coffee flavoring? It is a coffee flavoring. There is no actual coffee and no caffeine added into that. And we did that intentionally. In fact, when we were developing the flavor, I would tell Chris, like, this is where I'm at so far. And he was like, okay, well, you know, you can add some coffee, and don't forget, I've sent you some caffeine. I'm like, I don't want to use the caffeine at all. And he's like, but it's coffee. And I'm like, yeah, but you got to understand, many coffee drinkers, and he doesn't know because he's not a coffee drinker.
Right.
But many coffee drinkers don't just drink coffee, like Rachel, for caffeine.
I like it for the taste.
She likes the taste. And I'm like, so a lot of people are looking for that coffee taste and not so much of the caffeine. So we wanted to be able to provide something that you could drink year round or all day, because like a lot of people can't drink caffeine late in the afternoon. You know, like me, I could drink caffeine at 3 o'clock in the morning. It's not affecting me. Same thing with Rachel. She can drink a whole pot of coffee before going to bed.
Yes.
But other people can't do it. So we wanted to have a flavor that you can have all day long. And that if you have, you know, any reason why you can't have coffee, whether it's a religious reason or you just don't like it, you could still enjoy it.
Yeah.
So, let's see. Jessica said, awesome, I totally get that. I may need to do another one. I'm in the same boat where I think I'm eating too much and my cravings have come back. I did a 3-day in April, but none since.
Yeah, it's been a while.
We try to do one, like at least one a month.
Like a quarter. You
know, where it's at least 24 to 48 hours. But it just, we hadn't done one in a few weeks, so. Polani is here,
hey.
said, I love caramel macchiato, second bag at the post office waiting for pickup.
How are you doing?
Jessica said, I also gained a few pounds that I can't seem to shake. Join the club. Definitely not muscle since I only recently started working out.
It can be challenging. It really is. And that messes with your head. It really does.
Debbie said, grateful for all of you that have a partner doing keto with you. That support is precious. I so wish I did. You do.
You do.
Just go into Facebook family group. I mean, I look at the amount of people who have actually met in real life as a result of our Facebook family group, and it's really, really cool. Like, I really feel like, and it was always our intent that like that Facebook group and even our YouTube channel, it was never intended to be just like, hey, let's put stuff out there and we don't know anybody. If you're at all active in our group, we know who you are, and each of you know who each other are, and it's just really cool to see these personal relationships and friendships spawning out of a YouTube channel.
Well, because we shouldn't do life alone.
Right.
We need people. We need each other. We need a buddy. And if you've been, you know, doing life alone, like, I get it. I did that for a really long time.
Right.
But it is hard, and you get tired.
Right.
And sometimes you just need somebody to lean on, and I don't want anybody to miss out on an opportunity to make friends.
Sometimes, especially if it's like a significant other, you know, we get upset like, well, what, that person doesn't want to join, but you have to look at the emotional side from their side too. And it's hard for us. But I can tell you the first time that Rachel decided to lose weight, I mean, she was 260 something pounds. I was like 285. And she was like, I'm losing weight. And number one, I liked the way she looked. Like her being heavy did not bother me. But then I also had this other thing. Well, again, we do life together, and that means I have to do this, and I don't want to do this.
Yeah.
So, like, not trying to sabotage, like, here's extra food. I never did that kind of stuff, but I definitely wasn't, like, super supportive of her. Like, I was just constantly like, you don't need to lose weight. You look fine just the way you are. I like the way you are. But the side that she didn't know about for me was, number one, if she gets really skinny, maybe she's going to leave. And number two was, I don't want to have to do this. So how can I talk her out of doing it so that I don't have to do it?
Yeah, because that buddy system can be hard, right? If somebody wants to swim into the deep end and like you have to go with them.
Right.
Right? Like that's a very scary thing.
Right.
And like that's amazing. That's a great thing to bring up because a lot of it's connected, and sometimes the person that may be discouraging you and you're like, I don't understand why they will not support my health goals. Sometimes it's because you're lifting up rocks and they're going to have to deal with what happens.
You don't want to deal with it.
If you get healthier.
I mean, my mom for years was always like, you need to go get a physical. I'm like, yeah, no, I feel fine.
Ignorance is bliss.
First of all, I grew up with a mother who is a physician. So I always had this attitude of like, you know, or the way I was raised, like you go to the doctor when you're dying, you know,
right.
You know, but my thing really, the reason I never wanted to go to the doctor wasn't because I just don't want to go to the doctor, is I wanted to be ignorant. I would rather, I know I'm fat, but I don't need you to tell me that I'm fat and that my blood pressure is too high and that I'm probably diabetic. And so it was like, if I don't go to the doctor,
I don't know.
It doesn't exist.
We can move
right?
this
I
starting
can just act
line.
like I'm not diabetic. I can act like I'm not obese. My blood pressure isn't stroke level because nobody was actually telling me that.
But again, all of this thinking is behind the scenes and your partner does not know.
Right.
Like this, right? Like, I mean, we were married. I did not know that was going through your mind at that time.
So he said the warden forced me to do keto with her, but I have no regrets.
That is really good. And it's awesome that you were receptive and willing to do that.
I'm going to start calling you the warden.
The warden?
You're the warden.
Like crack the whip?
Well, you got to be the assistant warden because Shelly's the warden.
Oh, okay. That's right.
Amber said, I did high protein, low fat for a few days to get past my stall. I've had a hard time with fasting since I'm the only keto in my house.
I totally get that.
And it is hard. I mean, probably always the hardest time whenever we fast is like if I have to continue to do cooking. Now, fortunately, our children are older, so they do all their own cooking. And pretty much 99% of the time, if I'm fasting, Rachel is fasting.
Yeah.
Now, there are times where she will fast and I won't, but it's rare that I'm fasting and she's not.
Right.
So that makes it so that if like she's fasting, I don't have to cook.
I'm still unsupportive in other areas.
Blue Dove said, I love coffee. It would probably be overdoing caffeine if it was in caramel macchiato.
Yeah, that's what we thought.
Debbie said, me too. I can drink coffee anytime. It won't bother me or interrupt my sleep. I'm just a nicer person.
I'm a nicer person with coffee. That is so true.
Yeah, Amber said, caramel macchiato tastes butterscotch-like to me.
Oh, awesome. That's kind of the way I think Chris feels about it. He thinks it's like kettle corn.
He says it tastes like caramel kettle corn or something like that.
Yeah.
Teresa said, I ate breakfast today for the first time in a long time. I'm waiting for lunch, was emotionally wanting to eat, but not hungry, so I'm not eating. So weird for me.
Wow, I'm really proud of you because that is, again, you're learning yourself and you may be completely different than somebody else in their schedule for eating.
Joe Ray said she can't wait to meet us at Keto Palooza.
I'm so excited about that.
Tanya said, revisit it, Rachel. Root beer is delicious.
All right. I mean, the fact that he does not like peaches and cream makes me think that, like, okay, maybe he's got something
So
going
Shauna said, I have to get more active in the group because I have no support other than my own, and mine ain't that great for myself.
Yeah, sometimes if we're just alone with our thoughts, it is... a lot of times it can be very focused on the negative.
Yeah.
It takes somebody else saying like, I can't even tell you how many times like I've looked in the mirror like over the course of days and it's only another person saying like, you look nice.
Right.
That I'm like, okay, thank you. Why can't I just look in my own mirror and be like, have a great day, Rachel. I think you're an awesome person. Like, you look great today. Get out there and do something with yourself. Like, we don't.
Right.
It takes another person.
Heather said, Phil has discovered he has a passion for smoking meats. Another way keto has improved our lives.
Wow.
that is like us.
That's a really good thing.
Blue Dove said, my guy is doing that right now. He jokingly suggests he'll start baking again to tempt me, but I told him it won't work. Feeling better means too much to me.
Yeah, that is like next level adulting when you are cool with everybody else doing their own thing. Yep. And
well,
you're going to stick to
say
yours.
now he's shifting to low carb too.
That's really nice.
Jessica said, I avoided the doctor unless necessary because everything I had brought up ended up being related to weight and I get the lecture.
Yeah.
So I just avoided at all costs. I was the same way, and Rachel is still the same way with the dentist. Like I have some of the worst teeth. For if you're new, most of my teeth are on partial removable dentures because I never had good teeth. Even as a child, I didn't have good teeth. I had very soft enamel. So I never wanted to go to the dentist because like there was never a time I was going to the dentist without walking out of there needing a couple of root canals and a bunch of fillings and thousands of dollars. So I just got to the point where like, I'm just not going. And it got so bad. Or finally, when I did go with Rachel, I was like, I had no choice. they had to extract, what was it, like 7 teeth in one sitting.
It was.
And every one of them were cracking as they were coming out.
I held his hand, and it affected me. Like, I felt pain watching you go through that.
But I never wanted the lecture. It's like I would walk in and say to the dentist, like, listen, I know my teeth are bad.
Yeah.
Just give me the work that I need to get done, and don't give me a lecture on they're bad. I already know they're bad.
Mine.
Good point, though. Since doing keto, I haven't had one cavity, which again was
huge.
Really weird because I have at least 15 crowns and missing teeth.
I haven't had a cavity since either, I mean, you definitely don't think about dental health being improved by keto.
My bridges need to be redone because they're like 12 years old.
But we don't need sugar and garbage anymore. No. But my thing was never the dentist. It was to get a pedicure. That was the place I was always afraid of because I knew they were going to have to get out that giant cheese graters for my heels.
Well, that's what Paul said. You're totally describing my old view to health.
Yeah. It's just, I don't even want to know. Can you just give me medicine and me not have to talk to you about it?
Joe Ray said, I yelled at my husband the other day because he brought in freshly baked chocolate chip cookies.
You're like, what are you doing?
Heather said, before keto, I went to the doctor probably 3 to 4 times a month for migraines and infections. Wow. I was always sick.
Well, there's a couple of things like a toothache or migraine where it hurts so badly that you're willing to go to the doctor.
Right.
I mean, that's usually what got you into the dentist. The pain was so severe that you're like, I can't negotiate it anymore.
Yeah. Let's see. Marie said, my previous doctor made me feel awful every time. He said I had to move more, eat less. I just need to be more disciplined. I don't go to him anymore.
My mom had the same experience. She was going to a doctor where they had a gym attached to it. And she was going to the gym every single day. She was like working out for hours.
Right.
But she hadn't changed any of her diet. She was going according to like the heart healthy diet that he had prescribed, which was like a lot of Cheerios and nonsense. And when she would come in for an appointment, he'd be like, you need to just work harder at this and like deprive yourself some more. And she was like, that's it. I'm done. If 3 hours a day in the gym does not do it and I'm following your protocol and I'm eating the foods you're telling me to eat and nothing good is happening, like I'm out.
What really upset me with the same doctor, when she did lose all the weight and he actually changed her charts to say she's not a diabetic, would still lecture her about something. Like,
yeah.
You're eating too much fat. Your cholesterol
it's always
is
the cholesterol.
Too high. And the thing is, but what about all the other numbers? That's why people say, well, how come you guys don't worry about cholesterol? Because it's one number. And when you look at all of the other numbers, that one number means nothing to me.
Well, Mom just got back from the doctor because she was like going to come over and talk about like her test results and stuff that came back. And of course, they always bring up the cholesterol. And she's like, I just want to let you know that number is probably because I am keto and you're and the doctor was like, oh yeah, we've got to look at it differently.
Right.
Because of the fact that
you need to look at your triglycerides. How low are you? What's your A1C like? You know, you want to look at your remnant cholesterol, which is the free floating that's not being used. And so long as that's all small, doesn't matter. Dr. Berry's talked about his cholesterol being like over 300.
But she did say, like, I appreciate whatever you're going to talk to me about, but I want you to know I'm not going back to diabetes. Right. So, like, I mean, I will follow your advice if you're going to talk about movement or things like that. But when it comes to, like, go back to eating sugar, like, that's not happening.
Jessica said, I have a serious dental anxiety. I finally made my appointment only since my last visit. Had to have a filling replaced, grinding, and he numbered me wrong. Said I was wrong, and he started drilling.
Oh, no.
He said, I borrowed the term the warden from rock guitarist Zakk Wylde. He always refers to his wife the same way, as a sign of respect and admiration. Plus, she's the boss.
She's the boss. Yeah. Not Tony Danza.
Susan said, I was in so much pain when I went to the dentist because I had bad teeth as well. I found a dentist I love now.
That's good.
I now have all in 4 implants. I feel so much better without the infections.
Yeah. I mean, and it's just a cycle until he finally, like when you got the bridges, it was like one infection after another. Yeah. But it is interesting that like we've had no dental issues.
Right. Well, I mean, even before that dentist, I mean, I just never had luck with dentists. I had dentists do bridges wrong, do root canals wrong.
We came home and saw our dentist on the news.
Then the dentist who actually pulled all the teeth, she had been my dentist for a while and I liked her. And then the day we were pulling all the teeth, I noticed she wasn't doing it. Somebody else was doing it. And then she came in because it got to the point where they couldn't give me more Novocaine. They're like, you're going to have to do either come back or you're going to have to do this with no Novocaine. And I'm like, I'm not coming back. I'm just not coming back. So the last two teeth came out with no Novocaine.
I thought I wasn't going to live through that.
And then we go home and find out 2 days later that dentist had been arrested for practicing without a license because her license had been revoked because she was using narcotics.
Talk about a relationship you felt betrayed in.
I know.
I was like, wait, I know that lady. Why is she in handcuffs? Like, oh my gosh, she doesn't have a license.
Amber said, I just want a candy gift basket and gift cards for sugar cookies and $15.
Aww.
Gave all the sweets to my daughter. She'll use the gift card for chocolate or for chipmunk cookie bites they carry.
Oh, well, that's nice.
That's cool.
You know, I find that like as people get to know you, you know, that are in your kind of realm, they try. Like I noticed last night we went to a staff meeting and
it was awesome.
One of the lady that was ordering food, she came up to us and like presented us with some smoked chicken wings.
Yeah, she goes, I ordered these just for you because these are smoked because everybody else is having like Italian chicken cutlet stuff like that. And then there's another person who he has celiac, so she ordered him like gluten-free pizza crust.
But did you notice? Everybody wanted the chicken wings.
Yeah.
It was so funny.
I was like, where'd you get the chicken wings? I'm like, well, Rachel, because it's Rachel, she took 3 or 4 and then put them down for everybody else and then was like, they were over there the whole time.
And it was funny because it was like, all the time we think we're deprived, right? But everybody, you had all the pizza and you had all of this different kinds of pasta. Everybody was like, yeah, but the chicken wings are like nicer.
Right.
Like that's nice food.
Right.
And I was like, that's what we eat all the time.
Blue Dove said, Paul Saladino said his cholesterol is over 500.
Yeah. Again, it's just that it's one number and they're not even reading the tests.
The bottom line is our body makes cholesterol. You need cholesterol. If you don't eat it, your body's still going to make it. The dangerous part is when you're mixing carbohydrates with the cholesterol.
Right.
So let's pull that back up. I think that we've got Teresa's here, said, I really enjoy your channel.
Thanks,
I just started
Teresa.
keto a month ago and you guys make it easy to understand.
Thanks so much. Thanks for being here.
Oh, Shelly's here on her lunch.
Hey, I hope you have a great lunch, Shelly.
Well, it's 2:35. We've got a 25-minute ride to Apple.
I wonder which one we're going to get, which person we're going to get. Because they usually pair you at Apple with somebody that fits your likes.
Right.
And I'm always like, oh, can we please be like the cool person that looks like their other job is being a DJ or the person that's like looks like they're a bike messenger. And then we get like the 45-year-old like polo shirted dad or mom. And I'm like, dang it. But they go through your playlist. They know like the music and stuff. So like we never get the cool guy ever.
Well,
ever.
You would get the cool guy if I wasn't there.
You think?
Yeah.
All right. You stay home.
I'll
Let me
stay
see
home.
who I could get.
Okay.
Bike messenger person.
Patty said, do you have a review of the electric bike somewhere? If not, please do one. I am doing one. I was waiting on a part. Not that there was anything wrong with the bike, but when we went to New York, I lost something. And so he's mailing me a new one, and then we're going to do
we need this thing?
review.
Probably not.
It's a cosmetic thing, but it's like, it wouldn't be nice to do it in the video. Even though it's like, we paid for the bikes.
Yeah, but they didn't. Yeah, I don't want to show them in like, well, they'll be missing pieces. No, we lost it.
Okay, we're going to get off. Don't forget, tomorrow night
is our regular
live
stream.
8:30 p.m. Eastern time.
And our next movie is Daddy Daycare, which is definitely a fan favorite around here.
I love that movie.
Eddie Murphy in anything.
Have a good night, guys. Bye.
We love you.